Hi, it's Sarah Nesbitt here from Sarah Talks. I'm lucky tonight to be joined by Gary Sappier. So, Gary, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing out there?
Pretty good. So I'll tell you a little bit about Gary, how I know Gary. I met Gary quite a long time ago on the internet, social media. That's how it worked. And he was part of the East Coast Music Awards, the Aboriginal Showcase. Was that the first year that they had the Aboriginal Showcase at the East Coast Music Awards?
Geez, I started ECMAs back in 2003, so it might have been back then, and that was in Halifax, I believe it was. Yeah. But I think it was 2008 when you and I met.
Yeah, so we did that, and then somebody was late for to MC, so I showed up, and I got to MC a little bit and helped out. So then every year I kind of took part in that. But you guys all know I just moved to Calgary from Moncton, and Gary sent me a message the other day saying, I'm coming to Calgary, so I definitely want to have him on the show. But I really want to talk a little. You're a musician, of course. You've done a lot, been nominated for a lot of awards, APTN Awards, East Coast Music Awards, Music New Brunswick Awards, huge list. But I really think it is important to share, I've got goosebumps now, why you're here in Calgary this week.
Well, I'm here for the Aboriginal Tourism Association. We're having a huge meeting. It's Canada-wide. There's different people from different government organizations as well, because Aboriginal tourism is something that's very new to Canada and to the world, actually.
Yeah. Right, and well, Canada has so many Aboriginals. And actually, October 25th, they released, Census Canada released, did you see what they had released? So I just have a couple numbers. They said about 1.67 million Canadians, about 5% of the population are Aboriginal descent. Mm-hmm. So it's quite a large percentage. And it's actually grown by a whopping 42.5% since 2006. Mm-hmm. So when I read those numbers, I instantly thought, are you guys growing that much, or maybe it's just people that are taking part in censuses, or is the Aboriginal community growing by that amount of numbers?
Well, I think social media and easy access to information is readily available to everybody, and not only the Native community, but Canada-wide. So a lot of people are partaking in more census.
Well, that's what I figured too, because there is so many Aboriginals, and in my opinion, again, they were here way before 150 years ago. Just saying, So a couple other things too. Saskatchewan and Manitoba have the highest per capita for Aboriginals in Canada. Have you had a chance to go to Saskatchewan or Manitoba on your tours? Are you working with anybody this time that is part of tourism in those provinces?
I did a show at the MTS Center in Winnipeg, Manitoba, back in 2014, I believe it was. We did a live television show there for the National Aboriginal Music Awards. And that's about as far as I went out west, besides here. So that's and
again, there's a huge community in New Brunswick, and the amount of Aboriginal talent. Of course, we got to talk about City Natives. Right. They just won their 13th award. And I remember them at the very first East Coast Music Awards that I went to. It was Brandon by himself and Beats by himself, and then I think Blake was there with an acoustic player. And then shortly after that, then they formed City Natives, and they welcomed the other guy. So that's a group in the Maritimes that are doing really well. There's Melissa Gervin, who I used to work with. Beautiful, sweet gal from Campbellton. Beautiful voice. Name some of the other Aboriginal artists that maybe, are up and coming, or maybe people should check out.
Well, there's my nephew, of course, Casley Solis. He's a guitar player, piano player. He's kind of a prodigy player, actually. He was described by the Telegraph Journal. Cal Johnson, who's from Halifax, who's from Tobic, but lives in Halifax, and it's Cal Johnson Music. He's got some social media out there, and of course, you've got City Natives, and you've got District Avenue with Mike Bernard, and my son, of course, is in there, Kip Sappier, and Sean Nicholas, and I think they're looking for a bass player, so that's yeah.
So I think now's a good opportunity to go into one of your songs you're going to play for us. Just describe this first song. What is it called? Why you wrote it?
It's called I Remember. It's for the residential school, and so I wrote that song in honor of them. So enjoy it. I remember when I was young, I put away all those dreams, and tears are falling, the more I need for you to come back home. Da, da, hey, da, da, hey. I paint a picture of a man in white walking down my road. If you come to take me, I will not hide. Memories left inside. Da, da, hey, ha, ha, hey, ha, ha, ha. Da, da, hey, ha, ha, hey, ha, ha, ha. Da, da, hey, ha, ha, hey, ha, ha, ha. Da, da, hey. Da, da, hey, hi, hi, hey, hi, hi, hi. Da, da, hey, way, hi, hey, hi, hi, hi. Da, da, hey, hi, hi, hey, hi, hi, hi. Da, da, hey.
So one thing I noticed, a lot of people, you can't please everybody. So there's people that love Trudeau. There's people that don't love Trudeau. But one thing I've noticed, of course, that he's really trying to take note to recognize what was done in the residential schools. Do you think he's doing enough, or do you think that there's some more that he could be doing or should be doing, in your opinion, to kind of help, with that situation?
Well, if you remember back in 1969, I believe it was the white.
Sorry, I don't remember 1969. Keep going.
Well, I think his father came out with what was called the white paper policy. I could be corrected, but anyways, each prime minister, they say before election time that they want to do something, but it always pans out that it doesn't really happen. You're in a microscope. You better promise what you do, or you'll suffer the consequences, I guess.
Yeah. And somebody that has been doing, of course, Gord Downey had just passed from tragically hip. Do you know anything about his organization that he had, or any of the movement or work that he'd been doing before he passed away, as far as the missing Indigenous woman and things of that nature?
I had no idea, and I wasn't really. I really didn't know too much about tragically hip, but since he had died, I've been listening to a lot of information on the radio, and it was really impressive. His stuff was really heartfelt, and I think he really moved Canada in with his song and with his really outreach to Aboriginal people and Aboriginal communities. And I think he made a point to acknowledge Native people, because we're out there, we've been there for thousands of years, and we're not going anywhere in the near future.
Yeah, no. And according to Census Canada, you're just there's more and more and more. I love the Aboriginal language, and there's so many. Do you even know how many Aboriginal languages there is? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that know Mi'kmaq, Maliseet, but how many more are there?
Oh, I'm not really sure. There must be hundreds and hundreds of languages. I've heard a lot today, and here at the meetings, and it was very nice to hear them speak their mother tongue, right? So it was really nice.
Speaking of music, Gary, you have a new album coming up. How many albums do you have? And tell me about the album you're about to release.
I have 6 albums out, and coming out with my 7th album. It's all blues, it's some funk, and it's a little bit of rock and roll. And I'm very excited about it, of course.
Well, you are an inspiration, especially for New Brunswick. You taught me a lot in the music industry. I learned a lot from you, and then all the other community members that you work with in the music industry, plus the Aboriginal. So you do a lot. Keep going. Definitely don't stop. That's for sure. How do people find you? So, social media. Is there any way you can just tell them where do they need to go to find you?
GarySappier.com, and you can just Google. My music is also on Spotify, iTunes.
So Gary Sappier, so it's Sappier. So you're gonna play one more song for us. So just give us a little rundown on this song. I love this song, by the way, because maybe I'm a little bit crazy too. I don't know.
It's called "Mama, Do You Think I'm Crazy?" And it's one of those dark songs. You're sitting in the room, you're 17, 18 years old, and you don't know what you're going to do in life. And
it's soulful. So definitely check this out.
Saw you standing there for just a little while. Couldn't understand what happened to this child. There's something wrong with me. I don't know what it is. Please don't let go. Be back in a while. Mama, do you think I'm crazy? Why do I do the things I do? Mama, do you think I'm crazy? I do it all in spite of you. All the truth, baby. All the truth, darling. Did you know I'm feeling bad today? Didn't realize you want it that way. I'm back in town, can't search me anymore. Feelings are the same, I told you this before. Mama, do you think I'm crazy? Why do I do the things I do? Mama, do you think I'm crazy? I do it all in spite of you. All the truth, baby. All the truth, darling. All the truth, baby. All the truth, darling.
So we have another guest here. Gary was kind enough to say, I know another fella, and he invites him down to the hotel lobby to meet with us. So he was generous enough. He's going to play us a couple songs. Tell us your name and a little bit about yourself.
My name is Joel Dinny. I'm from Skazoni. Our family was always brought up by our language, and my mother was a chanter, my father was a chanter. We danced as children, and with our traditional dance, the Ulnu, we're Ulnu, and today they call us Mi'kmaq. But our language is unique to our area, which is Skazoni.
And Eskasoni is which province?
Well, Skazoni is in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, yeah. So
Okay.
and we have a population about maybe 5,500.
Okay.
And there's about 1,400 off reserve.
And so I would really love to hear a song in your native language. So tell us a little bit about this song. Why it was written. Is it one that you wrote, or is it one that you just play? So tell us a little bit about this next song.
Well, one of these things that I was told one time ago, and somebody said that you can't write a song or music or anything in your own language. Somebody said that to us, and that sort of bothered me a while, Sort of. The other thing that I do is I repatriate songs, old songs, and rewrite them and transcribe them, But this song here, the Wanakpedi, is the legend that my mother told us as we were growing up, and she mentioned this bird that Wanakpedi. And Wanakpedi is that bird that go in spring.
Okay.
And said, and when this Wanakpidias does its song or its dance, all the new life emerges. So it's a chant that it has the old chant on it. The chant was from Chief Member 2, and he was played in 1610 sometimes in Port Royal, in Nova Scotia. So I took the chant and the legend and married them together. But I guess. Hey na, hey na, hey na, hey na, hey na, hey na. Hey, Grena. Hey, Grena. Hey, now. Hey, Grena. Hey, now. When not for this. Hoogtigan mok Kuchina de mawe helado Noktit pa hamal kaldi Bikchi chwegadi hey mudi Kiskuna Edwardin Mahdi Kiskuna Edwardin Mahdi Hey na Hey Gwena Hey na Hey na Hey, Grena, cocaina. Hey, Grena. Hey, Grena. Hey, na. Hey, Grena, cocaina. Hey na, hey Grena, cocaina.
Wow, that was such a powerful song. I was sitting there watching you play that song and I was getting goosebumps, and it was almost like you were taking me somewhere. Even though I couldn't understand what you were saying, I could feel it for sure. So thank you for sharing that song with us. So you're here for the same conference that Gary's here for.
Yes, the Aboriginal Tourism Canada.
And what is it that you do? So I know Gary's done some political stuff before. I even visited Perth Hanover one time and I saw your face in a window, vote for Gary. So do you do anything like that involved in the community or part of the committees in some sense? Why are you here for this?
Well, I represent the Aboriginal Tourism Canada, and then the sector that we have in Nova Scotia. We are the working group there, and so we were trying to develop policies and procedures that we can be able to assist the developing businesses and whoever could be, small businesses today in our Aboriginal communities. So we don't have too much of support from the mainstream tourism, so we were trying to encourage the development of tourism in our communities and help with the human resource development, also the economy, part of that. So,
and is there anything one particular, I'm sure that there's a lot of things that would benefit and help with these things. Is there anything specifically that you think would help bring more tourism to your community in Cape Breton?
See, we need I think that we need help in our mainstream to encourage others to make their way up to our communities, because we have a welcome mat for visitors or people that are coming from maybe overseas or United States or wherever, maybe in Canada. So a lot of our there's no media out there that's telling the people to, or welcoming the people to come to our Nova Scotia, our icons or tourist attractions. So,
Right. And so you have another song. We definitely want to hear another one. So tell us a little bit about this song that you're going to play for us.
Well, this one here, I wrote, and the reason why I wrote this is what's happening to us today. And this is what's happening. Kiskuna Dediak, this is the song, Kiskuna Dediak. What's happening to our language, our talk, is that we're losing it. A lot of our elders are dying. A lot of them that has teachings that go with them as So as maybe our responsibility my responsibility maybe is that, share some of the languages and sort of encourage the youth to develop their own songs in their language.
And that's the thing too, is because there is so much social media. I do find, even in my community, the people that don't do what their ancestors did, because you got the social media, you've got all this different ways to go. So the history and all those messages and stories that are being passed on. I know, when my grandmother passed away, she was a storyteller. She was married to a native that he actually knows. So I learned a lot from her, and thank God that I was able to do that. But I also see, the younger generation, they don't even want to listen half of the time. So it would be good for social media to kind of work together, and because that's what they're doing.
Our language is so unique that just to give you an example, we don't have a word for mother, father, husband, first cousin, third cousin, anything like that in our language. Our language, you won't have any like swear words. There's no such thing. So what was it that, how we talked? We talked with our, descriptions, like the morphemes that we talk. This is the root words, or, root words are, nouns, These things describe the sounds of nature, and even in the family, the role systems that we have. So it's really unique. And I think our language needs support in all different areas, not just music, but we have chants that are very old, chants that describe life, We have marriage songs, divorce and separation songs. These
Shamanism as well.
Yeah, these ceremony songs. See, a lot of songs are eagles, the frog song, the fire song. All these songs are, sort of similar to Penobscot, Passamaquoddy, Abenaki, even Mohawk. We have these tribes that were the Wabanaki Confederacy at one time, and that sort of disappeared in early 1900s. Yeah.
So you wrote the song basically around that whole.
Yeah, the song is what's happening to us, and I'm sort of relaying the message to the elders and teach us our songs, and some of the elders are saying that it's no good to do that anymore, but you look around, all these children are lost. They're lost, and they're not able to express themselves in their who they are. So yeah.
So let's go to this song.
Het wachtel melek, de lima widaye. Hadewe jik kisigo, muna gelo kano. Agam ki na not hol tije, halik siga dije. Kisgu na delia. Guna delia. Weyat 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 heya, weyat weyat weya. we are te ya te, we are hey ya. Kundo wa hân wa so wa muin huktamo. Elwigen nek na sachen mak, wabben na gedije. Wabben na giget liegen naik, wel da sucht die. Ebije ge abjado, tante liegen na muie. Kisgu na delia. Delia. We are te ya hey, we are te ya, we are te ya te ya. We are te ya te, we are te ya te ya.
Another beautiful song, and I have a really hard time pronouncing. Can you pronounce it again? So, what actually is your name and the name of that song?
Well, the song is Kiskugna Deliak, what's happening today.
It's beautiful, beautiful. So also, I wanted to, when I went to UNB in Fredericton, right next door to me, it was two beautiful Aboriginal girls, and one of them, she used to dance in her regalia, and I was always so touched by it. I look out the window, and there she was just on the grass dancing. Samantha Lewis from Lennox Island. I'm not sure. Do you know who Samantha? Everybody knows who Samantha Lewis is. So when I went to university, she was my dorm partner. I only hung out with her pretty much. So she used to call me Kneed Up Cheech. So I was told it was a masculine version for little friend. Is that true?
Yeah, it would be, but it depends on who's talking.
Okay.
Okay. If it's a woman talking to a woman, then it wouldn't be masculine at all.
Okay, so technically I'm not a little boy.
No. This is Mi'kmaq, Wallalin.
Wallalin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary?
And mine is Wooliwan in Maliseet.
Wooliwan?
Wooliwan.
Wooliwan?
Yeah.
See, there you go. So you guys can learn a little bit at home. Is there some kind of websites or any kind of social media that is out there? So for if anybody's watching does want to find out what you have in your community, is there a place that you can go and find that?
There's Mi'kmaq Ganao Masudi, and there's a help desk .com that you can go into it and look at the elders, or listen to the elders that are talking about their culture and stories and legends. Also, you can go into the same help desk site there and look at the language, and it'll tell you how to say it. And I'm not sure Maliseet has something like that similar.
At the UNB, they have it's online.
Yeah.
Dictionary.
Yeah.
There's a Passamaquoddy Maliseet dictionary that's online where you can learn parts of speech and everything, the whole language.
That is good. And another thing, I'm sure, powwows is a good place to go. I've got to check out a few, and it's so amazing and beautiful to see them dancing around in their regalia. And the drums, I really love the drums. Do you host powwows in your community?
In 1990, we started powwows in Ilsibuktu, which is Spitkov, and we started one in Iskazori in 1992. So the ones we had in 1992 was in my land now, and it still is. And we had about maybe 10,000 people attending the Iskazoni powwow. Our traditional songs and dances are more unique into this area, and it's quite different, and the vocalizations and the chants and guttural chants that we have is quite different than the mainstream powwow songs.
Right.
We have water drums, we have a log drum, we have a birch bark drum, we have flutes, we got turtle shell drums that we make, So it's a little different than what we see today in powwow.
Yeah. So is it that's another thing, is the regalia, as you had said, like different music and everything is like distinct for the area or what have you. Does it go with colors in that sense too? Like with the regalias, I don't understand how that works, but how does that?
We paint our regalias, the hides that we use to make our regalias, and we paint them, and a lot of these symbols indicate we have 7 worlds. We also have clan systems, so yeah, I'm a lobster clan. Mm-hmm. But my mother clan is the unamak. And unamak is a beluga whale. So the beluga whales don't exist in the Bedore Lakes today. Yeah.
So tell me one more time, what is thank you in Mi'kmaq, and then what is it in Maliseet?
Walalin.
Walalin.
And Williwan.
Wiliwan. So thank you to Gary Sappier, and again, how do you say your name again?
Joel.
I thought, what was the
My name is Beach.
Beach?
Beach. Yeah.
Beach, just like I read.
It's a hawk that we have in Cape Breton.
Well, again, thank you guys so much, and I really wish you all the best in the conference that you guys are doing, and I hope it does do something. I've always felt very, very drawn to the Aboriginal community. I think probably in a past life I was probably somewhere along those lines, but I just really enjoy it. So I appreciate you guys taking your time and to help move your communities forward as well. So that's really great.